Lithuania declared a nationwide state of emergency on December 9, following a series of alarming incidents involving unidentified balloons floating across its airspace. The unprecedented move highlighted growing fears in Vilnius over the potential security risks these objects could pose to the country's sovereignty. Officials in Vilnius stated that the meteorological balloons, suspected to have been sent from neighboring Belarus, were not harmless scientific instruments but potential threats capable of endangering both national security and civilian air traffic. The government's announcement came shortly after a cabinet meeting in the capital, a critical discussion among NATO member officials whose country shares borders with both Russia and Belarus, two of Europe's most heavily militarized states. Under the newly declared state of emergency, Lithuania's armed forces will now patrol the sensitive border regions alongside other uniformed services, marking a coordinated surge in security operations along the frontier. The army, under this mandate, will also gain broader legal powers, including the authority to conduct searches, inspect facilities, and if necessary, detain individuals suspected of engaging in unlawful activities across border areas. At the same time, officials sought to reassure the public, emphasizing that the state of emergency would have minimal impact on civilians and that normal life across Lithuanian cities would continue largely undisturbed.
So the main question is, why has a state of emergency been declared? It is because of the hybrid attack by the Belarusian regime, which results in balloons carrying contraband being launched into Lithuanian territory and posing a threat to civil aviation. One of the main advantages of declaring a state of emergency is increased cooperation with the Lithuanian military. During a state of emergency, soldiers can be granted special rights, which makes their operation together with the services of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, as well as independently, more effective. And participation of the military and the use of special powers in neutralizing airspace violations gets legalized.
Balloons entering from Belarus have forced Lithuania to shut down its main international airport multiple times over recent months, severely disrupting both domestic and international air travel. Each shutdown triggered a wave of frustration among passengers and authorities alike. Thousands of passengers were left stranded during these shutdowns, as flight schedules were interrupted and airport security teams scrambled to investigate the origin and nature of the floating objects. Since October, Vilnius International Airport has been closed for over 60 cumulative hours, affecting more than 350 scheduled flights and disrupting travel plans for nearly 51,000 passengers across Europe. Beyond airport disruptions, Lithuania also took the more drastic step of closing two of its border crossings with Belarus back in October, citing repeated airspace intrusions and ongoing security breaches. Authorities say these balloons are often used by smugglers to transport illegal cigarettes into Lithuania, but they now believe the trend has evolved into a deliberate campaign, part of what they describe as a coordinated hybrid action against the country. Belarus, however, has vehemently denied orchestrating any such hybrid attacks. Officials in Minsk insisted the balloons posed no threat to civil aviation and accused the Lithuanian government of politicizing a simple issue for strategic advantage. In a sign of rising diplomatic tensions, Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko has called for direct negotiations between Minsk and Vilnius, aiming to ease the mounting friction along their shared border. In recent years, several European nations have repeatedly accused Belarus of fueling regional instability through non-conventional tactics that blur the line between statecraft and conflict. These countries have also alleged that Minsk has deliberately directed waves of migrants toward European borders, turning humanitarian crises into geopolitical pressure tools. Since September, many European officials have broadened their concerns, accusing Russia itself of launching a wide range of hybrid attacks, which combine disinformation campaigns, drone incursions, and covert destabilization attempts. Multiple NATO member states, including Poland, Lithuania, and Denmark, reported repeated violations of their airspace by unidentified aerial objects. In response, Western militaries were often forced to scramble fighter jets to intercept or investigate the threats. Despite extensive monitoring operations, the origin of many of these drones remained officially unknown. However, European governments have publicly suggested that Russia was likely behind these provocative incursions. Moscow, for its part, has categorically denied all allegations, calling them baseless and part of what it describes as Western efforts to justify military buildup near its borders.